Thanks for being with us. In our first story, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and Japan's largest bank, Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group, will from 2018 be embarking on an investment campaign to ensure that the Ghanaian private sector makes good use of potential trade and investment avenues in Asia. This campaign is expected to take off in what is known as the well-curated Asia Deal and No Deal Roadshow. It is set for January 28 to the 12th of February 2018. Here's more in the following report.
The investment roadshow will see the GIPC, together with some Japanese partners, lead a sustained engagement of business matching for the private sector. This is aimed at tapping into investment opportunities with Japan and Singapore. CEO of the GIPC, Yofi Grant, says the engagement will help the GIPC exceed its $10 billion target in foreign direct investments.
I believe that there are three things that will guide it. One is the President's pronouncement that Ghana will definitely move from aid to trade, and therefore creating investment opportunities that will also translate into trade opportunities for our partners in Ghana. So that's one. And secondly, the fact that we are transitioning our economy from one that was built on the export of raw materials and resources into one of value added and processing and then industrialization also is a great opportunity to see enhanced FDI in Ghana. And thirdly, wanting to be a hub for West Africa in itself means that we are creating another platform for sustainable and irreversible partnerships with investors to look at a bigger market, the 350 million plus West African market.
On his part, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta urged local entrepreneurs to take advantage of the opportunity by increasing the standards of their goods and services.
We all know about Toyota, etc., Itochi, trading, and now we should get into the small, medium scale companies to partner with Ghanaian companies, and then we at the Ministry of Finance get into some serious dialogue with the Treasury in Japan to look at the issues of financing for us. So it's really an exciting period. Next year, as we said, is putting Ghana back to work, and I think these partnerships will help to strengthen that push to make Ghana the pillar of stability and move us beyond aid.
Meanwhile, Managing Director of Head of Emerging Markets at MUFG Bank in Japan is the key medium between Ghana and Japan. He has been explaining to potential Japanese investors on reasons to choose Ghana.
Now, government needs to do more in supporting the growth of climate-smart businesses because of their potential in socio-economic development. This is one of the major highlights of the Clean Technology Market Intelligence Report by the Ghana Climate Innovation Center in collaboration with its partners, including the UN University Institute for Natural Resources in Africa. Joy Businesses' Bismarck Awusa has details.
The Ghana Climate Innovation Center, through the World Bank and its partners, is providing technical and financial support for entrepreneurs whose ventures seek to deal with climate change such as agribusiness, waste management and solar energy. According to the Clean Technology Market Intelligence Report, government needs to complement this support to climate-smart businesses by way of policy orientation and implementation. Netherlands Development Agency leader on Ghana Climate Innovation Center, Martin Kleden, speaks to Joy Business.
We focused on the 5 areas in which the Ghana Climate Innovation Center is active. So I'll mention each one of them. So one is waste management, another one is climate smart agriculture, then we have energy efficiency, solar energy and water purification. And for each of these sectors, we did a study. We came out with some ideas of where the potential is in the market and how our entrepreneurs could tap into those opportunities. For them, what we hope is that people can get inspired, that they read it and think, hey, for example, the report writes about waste management, that you can use actually types of waste to turn it into something productive. And so we hope that people get inspired, that they will understand that there is a lot of interesting opportunities in clean technology in Ghana.
He spoke to Joy Business at the launch of the Clean Technology Market Intelligence Report. The event also saw the induction of the second batch of businesses into the Climate Innovation Center incubation. One of the entrepreneurs, Conrad Kawula Balik, stressed the need for present government to subsidize some of their imported items to boost their operations to the benefit of the economy.
Where I come from, we have limited rainfall and rainfall patterns that are not friendly to agriculture. Now we have river bodies cutting across the district. And of course, we need the support of irrigation pump machines. So we feel that most of these solar machines that come into the country come through the ports and are heavily taxed, thereby making businesses transfer those costs onto the consumers of the product. So we feel that government should begin looking at subsidizing these equipments that are coming to support agriculture so that it is affordable for us to be able to buy to go onto the farms to produce.
According to the economic impact, food wastage in Ghana was estimated at almost $8.9 billion in 2018. This is according to an economic impact of food wastage in Ghana report. It also highlights the opportunity for climate-smart businesses.
Gas processed from the Sankofa Jinyame project is to be used to fuel the country's second power barge constructed by Turkish firm Car Power Ship. The 470 megawatt power ship has been connected to the national grid to boost power supply in the country. Deputy Minister of Energy Joseph Kujo disclosed this during the launch of the second Car Power Ship unit at Tema. Here's Ebenezer Sabute's report.
Power barge began operation in Ghana in 2015 by Karadeniz Power Ship of Turkey. It had an installed capacity of 235 megawatts and has been supplying sustainable, reliable and affordable electricity for the country at a cheap rate since then. The second barge, known as Osman Khan, deployed to Ghana a few months ago and has the highest installed capacity of 470 megawatts. It is so far the biggest power ship manufactured by the company. Government has decided to relocate the facility to Sekondi Takoradi in the western region to enable it to use locally produced gas.
470 megawatt power ship is one of the primary candidates expected to offtake gas from the Sankofa field when it is relocated to Sekondi. I am particularly excited to note that due to flexibility and fuel diversity offered by the power ship, we have the option to relocate this power ship to a gas supply source and switch from liquid fuel, HFO. Our technical teams are working frantically to assess the smooth relocation of the power ship to our gas supply source. Ultimately, it is envisaged that the conversion from HFO to gas operation would contribute to reductions in the cost of power generation, which is in line with the numerous interventions by this government to relieve consumers of high electricity tariffs.
CEO of Car Power Ship, Oran Ramzi Kara Dinez, also stated the company's presence in the country fulfills its contractual obligations.
Continue to be the lowest cost and most reliable solution partner for Ghana. Spearheading our expansion into the region, ECOWAS and the continent from our strong operating base in Ghana. Proudly, we would like to take the role we are allowed to take in making Ghana an energy export hub and a growth center in the region. We do our best to make people's lives easier, to offer them a much better future. In every location we operate, we do not only meet the electricity demand of millions and hundreds of thousands of people, but we also impact the socio-economic structure growth by providing employment opportunities for the local economy, delivering extensive social responsibility projects, engaging local communities. We work towards one world and contribute to increase global welfare.
The power ship has successfully completed all requisite commissioning works and has already been supplying electricity to the national grid since October.
Now, still on energy matters, energy think tank ASEP is questioning government's claim of using proceeds from the stabilization levy to cushion prices of petroleum products. Government earlier this month announced the decision to cushion the impact on consumers. This resulted in government taking 7 pesos out of the 10 pesos that it levied on the price of petroleum products. Now, according to the Energy Ministry, this action should cost the state some 300 million Ghana cedis and should end by February next year. But Director of Operations at ASEP, Ben Boachi, tells Joy Business this does not reflect the situation on the ground.
Price stabilization levy was put on petroleum products to ensure that when prices are going up, government could have some buffer or some money set aside to bring it back onto the market so that you can hold the petroleum prices over a period of time. And that is where you estimate that the rise in price wouldn't be for the long term. So you can hold it over a period, and then when the price stabilizes, you can actually take it out. Our argument all the time, all this while has been that you can't accumulate enough money to manipulate petroleum prices on the international market. And therefore, the stabilization levy was not really relevant. And it has been justified over the period that the money that has been accumulated over the period are actually not enough to stabilize the petroleum product prices. So essentially what they do with that money is to stabilize the premix fuel for the fisher folks. And we're now seeing how people are corrupting that money, because the more premix they consume, the more subsidy they demand. And when they demand that from the price stabilization levy, there is nothing left for stabilizing petroleum and petrol and diesel prices.
Well, government in 2015 started implementing the petroleum deregulation policy for the downstream sector. This transferred the right to fix petroleum prices to oil marketing companies and bulk distributors away from the National Petroleum Authority. Following this, prices at the pumps are reviewed every 2 weeks. But do members of the public really understand the dynamics of what goes into setting these prices? Well, Karen Dodu has been trying to get some answers in the following report.
Petroleum pricing is a big issue in Ghana because of its impact on the general economy and some businesses. An increase often leads to strike by transport operators and other actors in the economy. Today we test the pulse of Ghanaians and find out how much they really know about what goes into the determination of the price of petroleum products on the local market.
Actually, I don't know anything about what goes into fuel pricing, because when they say they've reduced it, I don't see it. I don't see it. When I buy it, with the amount of fuel I'm supposed to get, well, it's the same as what I used to get, so I don't know what they've taken.
I don't know what they take in from the fuel, but they will tell you they've taken in some taxes and they've added something, but just for a week, then later you realize they've increased fuel again, which, you understand, is not helping us.
The little I know is about this taxes from all sorts of places, which I cannot be too sure about. Sometimes they tell us they're taking some of them off. Other times they put in new ones. I can't be too sure. What I know is that the world market keeps, pricing in the world market keeps changing. In fact, it keeps dropping. But some way, somehow, it keeps going up here.
So can anything be done by government to stabilize prices? Executive Director of the African Center for Energy Policy, Benjamin Boachi, has explained that the determination of the price of fuel goes beyond government's control.
Our argument all the time, all this while has been that you can't accumulate enough money to manipulate petroleum prices on the international market. And therefore, the stabilization levy was not really relevant. And it has been justified over the period that the money that has been accumulated over the period are actually not enough to stabilize the petroleum product prices. What government did when prices were moving up was to take down the margin, the stabilization margin on diesel. But at the time they did that, on the international market prices were going up. So it rather stabilized the price for the pricing window that was supposed to be adjusted. So when they were supposed to increase price, then they took down the margin, so the price didn't have to go up.
He adds that the only way governments can reduce the price of fuel products is by reducing the tax on the products.
But obviously there are options for government when it comes to product pricing. It is not just Ghana. Throughout the world, petroleum products are a safe window or a cheaper window for government to mobilize tax revenue. So there are a lot of levies and taxes on petroleum products. For example, we have 41 pesos on every liter of petrol or diesel you buy for the repayment of the energy sector debt. Those windows are available to government to bring some relief to consumers, particularly the special petroleum tax.
Experts, however, predict that there might be a marginal increase in the price of fuel products on the international market. For Joy Business News, Karen Dodo reporting.
Shifting focus to the banking sector, and government needs to put in frameworks to create an enabling environment for Islamic financial systems to operate freely without any problems. That's according to Vice President of Africa Islamic Foundation, Mohammed Fauzi Aminu Amadou. Now, Islamic banking, despite its significance in some countries in Africa, is yet to be introduced in Ghana. In an interview with Joy Business, he noted when allowed to operate in the country, Islamic banking could help open up the financial space and enhance government's financial inclusion agenda. Fauzia to Adam has been looking at whether people would really appreciate the issue of doing business with a religious-based financial institution and why.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Quran chapter 2 verse 275 says, "As for those who devour interest, they behave as the one whom Satan has confounded with his touch. Seized in this state, they say, buying and selling is but a kind of interest, even though Allah has made buying and selling lawful and interest unlawful. Hence, he who receives this admonition from his Lord and then gives up dealing in interest may keep his previous gains, and it will be for Allah to judge him. And for those who revert to it, they are the people of the fire, and in it shall they abide." Verse 276 continues with, "Allah deprives interest of all blessings, whereas he blesses charity with growth. Allah loves none who is ungrateful and persists in sin." For a Muslim, the object of life is to live in a way that is pleasing to Allah so that one may gain paradise. In a country where we have financial institutions transacting businesses with interest, Matan Sarki is a businesswoman who is a staunch Muslim. She sells textiles at the Nima market and manages a small washroom on Wednesday, which happens to be market day at Nima. For her, there is nothing in this world that will make her access loans from financial institutions in the country because the religion frowns on taking interest.
Taking bank loans with interest, our preachers have told us that Allah forbids it. And if you do business with interest, you will go to hellfire. You go and take 100 Ghana cedis and they add 200 Ghana cedis. The 200 interest is forbidden, and on Judgment Day, you will pay for it. I am not done paying for my sins, and I can't add this interest thing to it. Since Islamic financing does not accept taking loans with interest, it will be a welcome news for all of us.
Ba kara komi kai in ka ake aka baka 100 million ka biya 100 million wala aka kawo sun karbi.
Rabiu Maude is a Muslim entrepreneur.
For somebody who is in the construction industry, right, and you get a government contract and you do not have mobilization, you probably need funds to do the job, and then you get paid later. You'll agree with me that if you went for a loan from a financial institution and the APRs or the annual percentage rates are about, say, 30%, you complete this job in 6 months and you have to wait for 1.5 years to get paid by government. You and I would understand what that kind of interest will do to your payments in the end. It will actually swallow it up. So what I understand actually by Islamic banking is that it will be the panacea to new and small-scale businesses, because that burden of debt is taken off of your head. So you do not have to worry about having to repay your creditors because you have borrowed and you have to pay an interest on it.
According to Islamic financial analyst Mohammed Fauzi, the current financial framework existing in Ghana does not accommodate the establishment of any meaningful Islamic finance venture.
Islamic banks are in there for profit. Only the mode or the model they use for raising their money is different from the one that is based on interest. There have been efforts in that direction because in the recent banks and special deposit taking institutions bill, it mentions as one of the services that can be given as what non-interest banking, and that is what Islamic finance will directly fall under. So there is there, but we've not created the enabling environment. Like I was saying, just saying that you can do non-interest banking without a proper framework, policy procedure, or capacity, which is one of the things Ghana is lacking, right from the Bank of Ghana down, is that we don't have the capacity. Those who have an understanding and the qualification to manage an Islamic bank are not there. So how does the Bank of Ghana supervise an Islamic bank when it has no capacity in this regard?
On one hand, we have Muslims who refuse to transact businesses with these financial institutions because their religion frowns on transacting businesses with interest. On another hand, we live in a country which does not have frameworks that support running Islamic financial institutions. For Malam Husseini Mox, Nima, Fawzet Adam, for Joy Business.
You're watching Business Live. Now, ahead of the final burial rites of the late ace broadcaster Kojo Asare Bafwe Champong Kaba, you see there in your shots, the company, Adrensa Publications, is donating to the funeral. Let's hear from a rep of the company, that is Prince Ankra, who talks about the love they had for Kaba's programs.
And I'll take this opportunity to express our condolence to multimedia, and also the reason why we really came to give Kaba this notepad or the scribbling pad is that Kaba has become a household name in Ghana here. And then sometimes every day, 2 p.m., we listen to Kaba. Sometimes some of the issues we don't even hear or we don't even know about it. But Kaba gives us the joy for us to listen and then know everything that is going on in Ghana. So when Adrensa Publication heard the death of Kaba, it was so shocking to us. And then management of Adrensa Publication, take this opportunity, Kwabena Amponsa, and then also Evelyn Kwafo took this opportunity that they have to do this to multimedia and then say sorry to multimedia, and then they should accept our condolences. That this is something little that Adrensa Publication is also doing to push Kaba's funeral.
All right, we are moving on now to our interview of the day, and SNIT, that is the State Pension Trust, has indicated it is working with some regulatory agencies to possibly review pension benefits. This follows concerns by contributors they are not getting enough in terms of benefits. Board Chair Dr. Kwame Adokufo tells Joy Business they have come very far in engaging the Pensions Regulatory Authority for Parliament's consideration.
TUC, the organized labor, have told us they are not satisfied with the benefits we are giving. And we've told them we are interpreting the law as we see it. So now TUC and SNIT have written memoranda. We are going to give the documents to MPRA, that's the regulator. And after that, if there's no consensus, we shall go to the higher level, that is Parliament. And whatever they decide to be final.
And for you, is it about ensuring that we take more, if I'm a pensioner, I take more home, or the structure or even the contribution should also be reviewed so that if I go home after 70 years, I'll be getting more?
Look, whatever you take as benefit is dependent on the pay you are receiving. It's a fraction of the pay you are receiving. Generally, salary levels in Ghana are not very high. So you can't expect to receive low salaries and then princely sums when you go on retirement. Everything is regulated by Parliament, and SNIT can do very little. What we can do is to plug the loopholes I was talking about. There were a lot of irregularities at SNIT, and since this board came into office with the management, we've tried to plug all of them, and that one I promise.
And that would also have an impact on the benefits.
It will help. It will help. If the tank is not leaking, you preserve more water. So that's going to help.
The economists will say all other things being equal. Are we hoping that if this plan materializes, going to MPRA, I know you've done your homework well, MPRA will give you thumbs up, good work, let's forward it to Parliament. Could this happen maybe by next year if all things work?
Parliament is independent, and I don't want to predict what they are going to do. Everything will depend on Parliament.
Okay.
When they finish work, we start work.
Okay.
And there are more business stories you can catch up on our website, myjoyonline.com/business, including what the LPG marketers are going to do next week. Are they going to take legal action against government over their role in the supply chain of LPG? Well, more on that plus other stories on myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Darryl Kwal. Thanks for watching. We are back next week.